Straight ahead on 12 News, let the festivals begin. What to expect this year at Tater Daze. Plus, Plymouth prepares for its long-awaited Northwest Greenway project.
It's going to be really a fabulous way for people to get out and enjoy Plymouth, and enjoy nature, and really promote healthy lifestyles.
But first, planning for light rail. Residents in Brooklyn Park get their first opportunity to give feedback on proposed stops. 12 News starts right now. Hello, and thanks for joining us. It's not just a question of if, it's also a question of how.
Light rail planners are gathering feedback for the Metro Blue Line extension that would make its way from Minneapolis to Brooklyn Park. This is an important time in the design process. Wednesday night was the first major opportunity for Brooklyn Park residents to give input. There are currently 5 proposed stops in Brooklyn Park, one at 63rd and Bottineau Boulevard. The other 4 are all along West Broadway. Brooklyn Park Mayor Jeff Lundy says the stations could have a big impact on the area, or it could be just minimal. It just depends on what people want.
You want the wish list, and then you kind of work it backwards to get to reality and just understand what's possible.
The mayor says one opportunity for economic growth and redevelopment could come at the strip mall that's across the street from North Hennepin Community College. Brooklyn Park has one big vote left on the light rail line. That will come a year from now when the city decides whether to give its consent to the project.
Newly released court records show the Crystal father accused of killing his son also mistreated his other children. Pierre Collins is accused of either physically or sexually abusing 4 children he had through a previous relationship. That's according to Hennepin County Child Protection reports. Collins' son Barway went missing on the day Collins had a child support hearing. Prosecutors believe Collins killed Barway to collect life insurance money. His next court appearance is set for July 7th.
Crystal police are asking for your help in finding a runaway teenager who has been missing since early May. Missing Children Minnesota released this picture of 15-year-old Brian Aguilar Saldana. He has run away before, but never for this long, and that's what concerns Crystal police. They believe he is still in the area. Brian is 5 feet 4 inches tall, weighs 120 pounds, and has small earrings in each ear. And if you know where he is, you are asked to call 911.
A Golden Valley pastor is reacting to the shootings that killed 9 people at a historic African-American church in Charleston, South Carolina. The incident is being investigated as a possible hate crime.
I was truly disturbed by it to see that in a church something like that will happen.
Speak the Word Church in Golden Valley is a non-denominational, multicultural place of worship. Pastor Randy Morrison says society needs to value people for who they are and celebrate our differences.
If we all were the same, a lot of us would be unnecessary. But seeing people that is different, we should learn to embrace that. And sometimes ignorance keeps people and fear keep people away from really engaging others.
Speak the Word Church does plan to beef up security after the Charleston shooting.
Governor Mark Dayton has set a date for a special election to replace Representative Ryan Winkler. It will take place Tuesday, November 3rd. That's the same day city elections are being held in Golden Valley. Golden Valley lawmaker is leaving his House seat for a move to Belgium, where his wife has accepted a new job. 2 DFL candidates have emerged to replace him, Peggy Flanagan of St. Louis Park and Tim Reardon of Golden Valley. In Plymouth, a project more than 15 years in the making begins this summer.
In 2006, voters approved a $9 million referendum so Plymouth could acquire land for a Northwest Greenway. It's a way to preserve nature while the city grows up around it. It's hard to put a price tag on the value of nature. The open space that allows the chance to bike or run, for example, on the Loose Line State Trail.
We really have something that will go out into the future and will benefit our community for many years to come.
In Northwest Plymouth, 350 acres of land will become the Northwest Greenway, with its first trail to be built this year.
We would anticipate doing multiple trails. Some people like to be out more in the prairie area. Some people like to be in a wooded area.
The Northwest Greenway corridor spans 2 miles in length from Lake Camelot on the east to Peony Lane and Wayzata High School on the west. Plymouth has actively acquired pockets of land for the Greenway thanks to residents' approval of a $9 million referendum in 2006. As new homes quickly settle into the landscape, the Greenway was the vision of city leaders years ago to protect and preserve some open space before it was gobbled up with development. Think Central Park in New York City.
Somebody a long time ago set aside that piece of property, which is invaluable, and you would never get that back. And that's like Plymouth. If this was all developed, there's no way we'd ever get this back.
It's going to be usable by all the community.
Over the next 5 years, trails will be built, including one that connects to Medicine Lake Regional Trail and another built around the Elm Creek wetland.
One of the important things is that we're kind of preserving the natural part of Plymouth, and we want kids to get out and be one with nature and enjoy.
The preservation of open space with the Northwest Greenway means for generations to come, the opportunity to enjoy nature is afforded to all. Construction this year begins on the trail east of Vicksburg Lane.
If you are a dog lover looking for some volunteer opportunities, there's a program that might pique your interest. Can Do Canines in New Hope trains puppies to become service dogs for people with disabilities. The organization needs volunteers who can care for cute and lovable puppies like these in their home until the puppies are paired with a permanent guardian.
It's a wonderful experience. The volunteers often get to meet the person whose life has been irrevocably changed as a result of the work they put in with the dog. So knowing that you change the life of somebody with a disability changes your life, makes you grateful for all that you have.
These 5 lab pups are going through super puppy training. The goal is to get them used to sounds, shapes, and everyday experiences that they will face. They are cute.
Yes.
Coming up, time to celebrate the Spud. We go to Brooklyn Park next to preview Tater Daze.
And then later in sports, just in time for Father's Day weekend, Terry Tuma drops by with his weekly Channel 12 fishing tip.
But first, warm sunshine and dry on Friday. The first of the summer festivals gets underway tonight in Brooklyn Park, and you can help the Tater Daze mascot find his golden spud. Here is clue number 4. Just then, Spud McTater spots familiar friends from his Great River Route neighborhood. Edward Shimmick, the archer, and his schnauzer, X-Mark, stroll toward them from Summerwood. All right? There is a $300 reward for finding the golden spud. And it is that time of year again for Brooklyn Park to celebrate its potato farming heritage.
The annual Tater Daze Festival begins today with a variety of activities. Delane Cleveland is at Noble Sports Park with more.
Mike and Alex, I'm here at the Noble Sports Park. This weekend marks the first day of summer, and what better way to kick it off than with Tater Daze. So joining me right now is Mr. Turnquist, the organizer of the Tater Daze Festival. So you've been doing this for 4 years now. It takes about 12 months or so to get together. It's the first day. What's running through your mind right now?
Just a lot of excitement. It's the anticipation of what's going to happen this weekend. You just never know. Every year is different. So we're just hoping for a nice weekend weather-wise and for a lot of people to come out.
So for the people who do want to come out, then what exactly is it that you want them to know about what's taking place here?
We have our normal events, our fireworks, our stage shows, our parade on Saturday at 11:30. Very exciting. We've got 3 bands coming from Wisconsin. One happens to be coming from the Green Bay area. So they're coming pretty far to be in the Tater Daze Parade.
And hopefully all those Vikings fans out there will be nice to them because they're from Green Bay.
Well, we'll hope so.
All right, and the big event kicking off today is the Brooklyn Park's Got Talent competition. What can you tell me about that?
This is a talent competition for our Brooklyn Park residents to showcase their talents, get up on stage, sing, dance, whatever it might be, and just give people an opportunity to get behind a mic.
All right, sounds like fun. All right, thank you, Tate. Appreciate your time. So the big Tater Days parade is going to be on Saturday. Channel 12 will be there, so if you see one of us in the crowd, feel free to say hi. We're nice people. We'd love to talk to you. So reporting live in Brooklyn Park from Tater Days, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
All right, many thanks, Delane. And for a full list of events taking place this weekend, you can go to taterdays.org. We're all geared up for Tater Days.
I love this T-shirt. You say potato, I say tater.
That's nice. Coming up, thinking inside the box for gardening tips.
But first, the big hitters are in Brooklyn Center this weekend for the Dudley Classic Softball Tournament. John Jacobson has a preview next in sports. A big fun event coming up this weekend, and these guys can really hit the ball a long ways, man.
A long way and a lot, and it draws a lot of people too. It's a fixture on the June calendar in Brooklyn Center. Some of the nation's top slow pitch softball players, along with Minnesota's best, hit the field for the 33rd annual Dudley Budweiser Classic this weekend. Jay Wilcox talked with tournament director Warren Bellum.
The three major teams are here, and they obviously come from all over the country. They have so many sponsor names to them, it's hard to even remember some of them. Rismondo is here. They've been here for so many years. And so is Smash It Sports now, and they're actually used to be Laser Vision. They just changed sponsors. They got a heck of a team. And right now they're the #1 seeded team in the tournament.
How big is that to have a few Minnesota teams that mix in and really give some competition and just, kind of see how they stack up with some of the better teams around?
We wouldn't be able to host this event without the local teams. And now there are two teams from Minnesota. One is named Extreme Mikan. They're out of Champlin. And another team is in Compass. The one team is the 4th seeded in this tournament, and Extreme is the 5th seeded. So they belong to the conference, and they're very good teams. And they both play Friday night at 6:30 and at 10.
Fan support has been generally pretty good here, it sounds like, compared to a lot of the times that these guys play. Is that something that's continued throughout the years? Do you feel pretty good about the fan support you're getting too?
Yeah, and that's why these big teams come back here, because our fans come out and support and watch. And like Friday night is like a little party out here. It's almost like a hockey cult where people that really enjoy softball come out once a year maybe and they say, hey, see you next year or whatever. And that's the only time they see each other all year.
There's a Hall of Fame game and a Futures game, plus a home run derby Thursday night. Tournament games get started Friday at 5 p.m. and wrap up Sunday morning. Most of the games at Centennial Park in Brooklyn Center. The Summer American Legion baseball season is now in its second week of play. Excelsior, made up of mostly Minnetonka high school players, hosted Hopkins. Bottom of the 4th, Excelsior's Jack Kuzma rips a run-scoring base hit for a 2-0 lead. Excelsior having a good summer so far. And bottom of the 5th, Jimmy Ramsey laces a line drive to the gap to score Ian Cody, and it's 3-0 Excelsior on a triple by Ramsey. The Flyers can't do much with the bats, and David Cushing throws a 2-hitter as Excelsior wins 4-0. In VFW baseball, Osseo was at home to play St. Francis. Top of the 2nd, Jake Scardilli of St. Francis cracking a hit to the right center field gap. Trevor White and Justin Tatley score, and it's 2-0 after 2. Big inning for St. Francis in the 3rd. Max Spitzer gets a hold of one and drives it to deep left center. James Green and Cole Hansen both come in to score, and it is 6-0 St. Francis. Later in the same inning, Tatley lines a sharp single to left. Spitzer and White score, part of a 7-run inning, and it's 9-0 St. Francis. Osseo gets on the board in the bottom of the 3rd, including this one on this hit to the fence by Adam Lanners. Tim Lavin scores in the triple by Lanners, and it's 9-1. Osseo scores one more in the inning and 2 in the 5th, but it's St. Francis winning this game 9-4. It's time again for our weekly Channel 12 fishing tip as Terry Tuma talks about lures and casting techniques that can help you land more fish.
I'm sure we've all heard about the snap wrap, the jigging shad wrap, the jigging wrap, and it's becoming very, very popular and very successful, by the way. Vertical jigging over the side of the boat, even casting, but mainly vertical jigging over the side of the boat. I've caught a lot of walleyes with the snap jig. And there are, you know, again, it's sort of classified almost like an ice fishing lure. It is not. It works extremely well for summer fishing, deep water, shallow water. And the biggest factor here is just to drop it down into the water. And then I use a spinning rod and reel, which is going to be much more, I think, productive for us. And then something with a little bit of a stiffer tip, if you will. And you just drop it down. And then what you're going to do is you just snap it up and then keep repeating it as such. And just and vary your snaps till you find out or discover which is going to be the trigger for the fish, and then try to keep that same cadence, if you will. But generally speaking, drop it to the bottom, lift it up 1 to 2 feet, and here again, do some experimentation till you find one that's successful, and then repeat that process, that duplication process we so often talk about. But very, very successful. I caught quite a few species on it. We were up in Lake of the Woods late last fall with some marvelous success using it. I've used it on the river system, called rock bass on it, white bass on it, so there's just a lot of possibility. Give it a try. Let's get away from that ice fishing concept. Use it for open water periods. You're going to be very, very surprised. Tune in next week for another tip.
Thanks, Terry, and that's it for sports today.
All right, thanks, John. Still ahead, thinking inside the box for gardening.
One way to raise the potential of growing good vegetables when we come back. Some Robbinsdale homeowners are raising eyebrows over their raised garden beds.
Allison and David Ulbrich say raised boxes are the way to go. Reporter Sonia Goins goes in the garden with more on how their garden grows.
I don't find them that challenging to take care of.
Allison Ulbrich says she and her husband knew they would plant vegetables when they moved into their Robbinsdale home a year and a half ago.
We picked the raised beds because we were looking for something interesting to do.
They chose to do raised garden beds on their corner lot.
It's actually based on a French idea that people used in small spaces to grow vegetables and herbs in their home gardens.
A family friend constructed the boxes.
He came over and in a matter of a half a day put the whole thing all together for us.
The raised beds are also easy on the body.
I like the height because you can kneel on the ground and then it's easy to get at.
Allison took measures to keep unwanted creatures out.
The box has a fabric layer on the bottom and a screen layer on the bottom that keeps critters from being able to crawl up underneath.
She planted things rabbits don't eat on the boxes outside the chicken wire fence.
They don't like herbs and they don't like cucumbers and zucchini because they have prickly leaves and plants, so they stay away from those.
There are plenty of good eats in Allison's garden.
We have 5 tomato plants. We had 8 last year, and that was too many.
And if this year's garden is anything like last year's,
there's 6 strawberry plants in here.
Allison is going to have a bumper crop.
I think I inherited a green thumb. My mother and my father and my grandfather were all avid gardeners, so.
For In the Garden, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
And that does it for us. That's all the news. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we'll see you back here tomorrow beginning at 4.